Today we're reacting to another Kevin Samuels video. You already know his takes are controversial, so let's react to it, break it down, and see if we agree or disagree.
Yeah, she said, I hate women. Yeah, I hate them so much I blocked you because I ain't got time to talk to nobody that's silly. Hello, if you can think somebody can, that's, let me say, hey, how you doing? See, guys, what you just see is when sign language comes out, when they start talking about you hate women because you ask them the truth, just block people like that. There's no need to talk to people like that. Just get them out of your world. Hey, how you doing?
How you doing? Forgive the breathing, I just worked out.
Okay, so how old are you?
I'm 37.
All right, so what's your question?
All right, so my question is, how would you define two words that I feel like is thrown about a lot? Feminine and submissive / cooperative. And what would, if you could give like an example or two in a situation, that would be great.
Submission?
Different. I feel like
submission, respectful cooperation, respectful cooperation. Do you have a job?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any people who work to you, report to you?
Mm-hmm.
When you tell them to do something, you can tell if they're doing it begrudgingly, but they're still cooperating, or if they're doing it respectfully and in a good intention. Right?
Definitely.
One way they're submitting to you. The other way, they're just doing it because they got to. Men want respectful cooperation.
And what if you disagree with the request or the demand?
Truthfully, so.
What if you feel like it is going to derail or have a negative impact on the family, for example?
Put your dick up.
Say again?
Put your dick up.
Mm.
See, you and I are married, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We have a son. That's my boy,
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Jr. There comes a time where I say, something happens with Kevin Jr., and I'm going to say, go right, and you're going to say, go left. Both of us love our child to death. One of us has to pick. One of us wins. Which way do we go, right or left?
I'm assuming it's automatically the direction that you said. I can't remember whether that was right or left.
Why would we go your direction if I'm supposed to be leading my son and you? Do you think my direction is going to harm my child, my legacy? You think I want to put my future at risk? See how even the nature, you're in the passenger seat trying to put your hands on the driver's seat, trying to get us somewhere, and you're going to kill us both. Sit your ass down and ride. And see, the thing is, you can sit your ass down and you can enjoy the ride. Have you ever driven before? Driven somebody? That's not pleasurable. You're watching the road, you're watching traffic, you're doing this, you're doing that. The only thing you get to do is control the radio because you got to have, but everybody else can be sitting there talking, laughing, falling asleep, peaceful. But have you ever driven at night with your family? That person needs to go to sleep. And see, all these black women, you keep coming in talking about this is bias and this and that, is because we have a matriarchy. Women are so used to leading that you think the way you know how to lead is best. So what city do you live in?
I'm actually in Jamaica. I'm in Kingston.
Okay, Kingston. Well, if I said, what's the capital of Kingston? What's the capital of Jamaica?
It's Kingston.
What's the downtown area of Kingston?
Kingston, downtown.
Okay, downtown Kingston. If I said, how do you get to downtown Kingston from the airport? Tell me how you get there.
Follow the highway, take the first left, go on to Vineyard Town, take the next right. I don't know. It's a lot of directions.
Okay, but leave the airport, take the highway. Which highway?
I don't remember the name of the highway.
But it will get me downtown.
Right.
All right. Is that the only way to get downtown from the airport?
No, several.
But see, that's the point. The way you know to go, based upon your lived experience, based upon your intuition, those are your directions. My direction may be, don't go that way. Instead, get in the cab and let them figure it out. But the bottom line is we're going downtown. That's the point. This is the struggle. Women today are fighting men for leadership. Then you say you want men to lead. You want to lead, then you start dying of heart attack, stress. You die earlier then. You go fight the wars. You go stand out front. You go take the bullet. Men pay the masculine burden of performance, whether they make more money or not. When it's time, when there's a bump in the night, we have to defend you, right? That's what has to happen. So you have to be able to, here's the thing. If you trusted your man was going to be doing what's best for the family, why not cooperate?
That's it. That's what it boils down to, a lack of trust, for sure.
Well, then that's where the therapy comes in.
But you know what I find, Mr. Samuels, is that, like, I feel like for a lot of women, I find that if I go to any type of personal development, business development, therapy type stuff, I see a lot of women. So a lot of women are engaged in healing themselves, bettering themselves. I don't see a lot of men. So what happens, what I have found, at least on my side of the world, is that there are a lot of women who are a little further.
When I'm saying therapy, I'm talking about psychological therapy,
No,
not personal development. And I prefer women to go deal with a man.
As in a male therapist?
Mm-hmm. Well, because, okay, human beings are couples by nature. Male and female, we're made. Why were we able to do all of this through slavery, chattel slavery, this, that? But then all of a sudden, since the 1960s, we all of a sudden can't seem to act according to nature. It's the low-lying lack of respect and low-level contempt so many Black women have for the Black male image. You don't necessarily like it, but it's baked into the equation. So how are you going to end up cooperating? And here's the funny thing. I find it interesting that we're some of the most Christian people in the world, but we lack so much faith when it comes to dealing with your men. But we get more of the same. So it comes down to trust. You have to trust that he's going to do the right thing and he's doing it in a good faith. And because he doesn't do it your way, doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Oftentimes, our way is different than yours, and it turns out better. We just don't want to have to tell you each and every move we're making. This be like in the driver's seat. Okay, I'm going to speed up. I'm going to slow down. Okay, I'm going to swerve 10 degrees. We want to just go. And if you actually trusted where the car was going, you could enjoy the ride. Because the continual asking, are we there yet? And so forth. All you're going to do is make them say, I don't want to drive no more. And that's where the buy a dog and die alone thing. And then femininity goes along with respectful cooperation. Femininity is agreeable. Women tend to rank higher on agreeableness. But when you're inherently being disagreeable, you're inherently being in your masculine. Men are inherently disagreeable. So respectful cooperation and agreeability. You know what that equates to with most men? Peace. A man who has peace is more apt to stay involved in his situation with his woman because we understand what's out in the world. This is why also it's incumbent for women to get around women who want the same kind of outcomes and are willing to reinforce the work that all of us must do. Because the work a lot of women have to do is kind of reparenting or reprogramming yourself. And you need to be around other women who support you in that versus, you stupid, that's dumb, I wouldn't do that. You're taking advantage of you. You don't need to be trying to do the work and then be undermined by your friend circle. That's why it's often better to get rid of your single friends while you're doing the work so you can actually get a different outcome. So is that it?
I have one more question for you.
Go ahead.
It seems that in my grandparents' generation, there was the ideal relationship. There was a lot more, being agreeable, cooperation. It was kind of more of a given. Mm-hmm. And 2 generations later, it seems that it's been pretty flipped. Women are a lot more independent. Women are, all that stuff. Is it possible then that my grandfather, had it great in terms of having this cooperative wife and everything was fine. And the men see that and aspire to that and want that to continue. But maybe my grandmother or our grandmothers were fairly miserable, which is why they would whisper to the daughters, hey, sweetie, get your education. Make sure that you don't have to depend on a man. Make sure you don't have to put up with disrespect. Is it that maybe the views of that traditional relationship?
My grandmother wasn't miserable. My grandmother was this. I'm saying, okay,
Neither.
are we saying that basically those relationships that we idealized, maybe they really were secretly miserable? Then I want secret miserable.
Mm.
Then I want secret miserable. I don't give a shit. I want secret miserable. Because back then, they actually believed in God, believed in honor, duty, respect. They didn't marry based upon their freaking feelings. They did it because because you had to submit yourself to something greater. You didn't go into a situation to talk about what can you do for me. When you were a wife, you came in knowing I got to clean, cook, I got job to do in this house. And my job is to do this. Well, I'm going to tell you this. Part of the problem is men did our job too well. We've civilized the world so much. You don't have to deal with war, famine, plague. You can walk down the street in relative safety and not have to worry about being accosted or touched by a man that looks like you or a man that doesn't look like you. Back in my grandmother's day, there were no laws on the books that a white man was obliged to respect. So women had to deal with their men for safety, along with provision. But now safety is what? 911. You got women who are going out after dark, dressed scantily, going to clubs by themselves, getting drunk, driving home drunk, and feeling safe as hell. Because we have civilized the world too much. You want to know what it looks like? Give it coronavirus. You weren't feeling so safe then, were you? That's when you had to go out and see there's no water, there's no toilet tissue, there's no this, there's no that. And resources got scarce. And you start looking around and saying, well, how am I going to compete or get the resources that are scarce? I have no man to fight for this stuff. But you gonna come fight me? You gonna come fight your male counterparts for it? See, that's the point. So grandmothers, one, we had a community, we had a church, we had a family, we had a support system. We reinforced that stuff. Today, we have been told, we even have a new version of Christianity. It's called prosperity. God wants you to live your best life. Be happy, such and so forth. And women are getting a completely different message. It is me, 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 me. We have bred sociopaths and narcissistic tendencies, sociopathic and narcissistic tendencies. It's not about a relationship. It's not about the family name. You make the family look good. It's about me, 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 me. Well, that don't work. That doesn't work. And if you look at, and it's not just in the United States, you look at black people in the West. I mean, hell, even on the continent, these things exist. Matriarchies don't work. Why? Because men of other groups of men they ain't threatened by y'all. You know what other groups of men do? They weaponize your sass for their financial benefit to your ruin. They'll hire you, and I want you to understand. I want you to ask yourself, look in corporate America, or look and how many black women are in places of revenue responsibility, accounting, customer service, HR. The black women are the guards of all of this stuff. And they're weaponizing that so you can protect their stuff. That's your husband. And what are they doing? They're taking the money you're making and you're putting their kids through college and their wives are at home versus you used to take that and defend your family, your brood, our name, our this, our that. It's not about y'all. Y'all have to realize that you're living life as a single, solitary individual. And that is against the feminine directive of any species. The female of the group needs, the feminine of the group needs the group for survival. So, did I answer your question then?
answered my question. I have one last, and then I'll wrap up.
Go ahead.
I'm getting out of here after this, I promise you. What's your view then on male infidelity? Because I feel like that's one of the things that a lot of women are unwilling to put up with, which is one of the reasons they don't.
I think it's a bullshit feminine argument. Because I'm sorry, when they look at the infidelity numbers, when they do all the data, 28% of black men in relationships admit to having extramarital or extra-relational affair. You know what percentage of black women admit to having?
How many?
Well,
what percentage?
Yes.
42.
24. You're separated by 4 percentage points. But the way the women talk about it is the men are cheating. No, y'all cheat too. Y'all are cheating more today. Because men cheating to you guys is we're inserting our penis in someone else. You guys will have male attention around you, which is cheating. You know, cheating to a man is if I'm paying her rent and buying her a car. That's cheating. Cheating for a man is if you're giving him your body and your attention. So how many male friends did your grandmother have? How many male friends y'all got?
A few.
Exactly. So who's cheating? You got men for. Here's the guy I call when I need emotional support. This, that, so on and so forth. So you guys are in polygamous relationships. I think it's kind of hypocritical to hear women talk. And I've been the other man before. I've watched how y'all move. Y'all are vicious when y'all cheat. When y'all come out here and throw this, oh, I don't cheat. No, what you really talk about is the kind of man you want. You're worried about him cheating. Well, goddamn, you all want the same 10% of men. But yet, when you can't say that, when your Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything else is littered with exes. You want a monogamous committed relationship? Get rid of all your social media. See that eyebrow, folks? See that eyebrow? That's a woman who ain't gonna have that's a non-starter. I don't deal with women that have social media. You got to go.
Kevin, social media is a way to market and get business and network. It's a very important part of our business.
Great. Hey, enjoy. You just won't date me.
Fair enough.
I mean, I'm not telling you can't have it. I just won't deal with you.
Fair enough.
Because the women I deal with are professionals. Professionals with PhDs, but they're not on social media like that. And if you need to be on social media because of a brand, because you have a stage name, but what percentage of women is that?
I guess not that much.
Right. What it is it's another way to keep 1 foot in, 1 foot out, hedging, which is the same thing I started out. You guys modern women are terrified of commitment. You're not going all in on anything, and the only thing you're going all in on is dying alone. Because that's the reality.
With the dog.
The dog ain't even trying to deal with y'all now. I see dogs ain't just tired of y'all. I'm telling you right now, I'm laughing. I'm gonna start taking pictures. Because these dogs are sick of y'all's ass. They're like, I see this one sister. She got this dog, and every time I see, he's like, can't stand her. He's like, shoot me, dude, kill me. I'm like, I'm sorry. And he's like, ugh. So I mean, really, what it comes down to is women are going to have to realize that the issues so many modern women have with men have nothing to do with the men you want to deal with. They have everything to do with the phantom in your head. That ain't us. But see, here's the question. So I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. With so many sisters having so many, let's just say, reservations about relationships, valid or not, but they're there, right? What would you tell your son to do? Would you tell him to sit around and wait for one? Would you tell him to go ahead and fix one? Or would you tell him to go ahead and deal with the women who will want to cooperate with him?
I would tell him to deal with the women who want to cooperate with him.
Even if
Find
they weren't black?
aligned with him and make life
Even
happen.
if they weren't black?
Even if they weren't black.
Why? Why did you have to hold your teeth like that?
Even if I would prefer if they were black.
Well, he would probably prefer it too, but see, just like you would raise your son to prefer for it to be black, the mothers raising those daughters have to raise their daughters to value and respect your son so they can be worthy of his preference. That's why I didn't say you, I said your son. See, when it's your son, then you gotta be like, that's dirty, playing dirty. Yeah, because you gotta want what's best for your son. But what you're saying is, I'll raise my son to do the right thing, but are you confident that mothers are raising their daughters to be the right thing?
Fair enough.
Are they?
I don't think so, generally speaking. I believe they're raising them to be their idea of the right thing, and they're doing it.
Which is by themselves, independent.
Which
This is why it's going to take mother therapy, daughter therapy, family therapy. I think that's what it's going to take for most women to come to grips with how they were mothered, whether it's mother daughter, sister mother, whatever, the individual, and then get out here and compete, because it is an open marketplace and you can't ask men to sit around and wait.
is it fair then to ask women to settle in that this guy's a guy, but he doesn't intellectually stimulate you. You guys aren't aligned spiritually, but he's a great option. You know, he'll probably be monogamous.
What do you mean? Okay, settle. You're not. What did you say? The first one?
So, say for example, he doesn't
intellectually stimulating you.
Meaning, like
he doesn't intellectually stimulate you. That ain't our job. We're not your friend.
What you mean? We're living together. We're building together.
That is not. See, that is not our job. It has never been. We're not your friend. When we want intellectual stimulation, we go out with our friends. We're not your friends. We're your husbands. We don't like you like that. I'll be honest, we don't like y'all like that. We love you, but we don't like you like that. Most women don't realize how annoying you are to us. Y'all aren't funny. Y'all don't understand the stuff that we like. You want us to do what you do. It's like, well, go with your girlfriend to do that shit. But then you want to sit around and be intellectually stimulated by him. That's not the job description. I don't see Maria asking Jose to intellectually stimulate her when she comes across from the Rio Grande. I mean, where do y'all get this stuff from? This was heaped up. My grandmother didn't say, you know what, I sure did love that dude with the 4th grade education because he emotionally stimulated me, mentally stimulated me. That ain't our job. Character, protection, provision. So get intellectually stimulated with your friends and your kids. That's what we do. We don't do that with you guys. And that's one of our mistakes. We've done that stuff to our detriment, because give a mouse a cookie, ask for a glass of milk. Y'all never satisfied. Y'all won't have us watching beaches and, Lifetime movies and shit. Then the second one, you say you're not spiritually aligned. Well, that's different. If you're not spiritually aligned, well, sounds like the time for your ass to convert.
Okay. Let me be cooperative in this conversation.
Well, I'm just saying, okay, who's supposed to convert? Is a man supposed to convert to your religion?
No.
In the world, do women see? That's the point. See, and the fact that you even got to swallow so deeply on something that historically, from an intellectual standpoint, is something that happened often. Women converted from Christianity to Judaism or to Islam to marry their man. But it's like, what do y'all have to sacrifice or give up to be with a black man? What do you have to give that costs you? Uh-oh. Hold on. What do you have to give that cost you that you haven't given to another man that we want? Do 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 do. Y'all can write that down. What do women have? What do black women have to give up that costs them that we want that they haven't already given to another man? See, you want a man to have to be the right man, intellectually provide, be spiritually aligned, then have character, provision, protection, all this other stuff. And you just have to respectfully cooperate and be agreeable. So you want a 6-figure job with a high school diploma. And we look at our people who come into this country illegally, who stand in front of the Home Depot or the day labor center, such and so forth. And these guys are doing work that our grandmothers or grandfathers used to do. You see what they say legal immigrants do, but they get respect. They get submission. And it's not about money. In our community, women have lost real sense of a man's value. Go ahead.
So when does a wife or woman have the right to argue, to voice a disagreement, a disapproval, or is that just not to be done?
Yeah, you have the right. You certainly do. We want to hear your point of view, but you don't do it in front of people. You don't raise your voice, and it's done in good faith. We don't want yes women. We don't want to just say we're going here, yes dear, yes dear, yes dear, because women have female intuition. You're the more social of the group. You often see things that we don't. That's why you're feminine, beautiful, and inspirational. Women have a muse effect on men, an ability to inspire. My grandmother was a guide stone for my grandfather, but she also trusted him. But you do it one-to-one. So if I say we're going to move to Alaska, you can tell me, well, okay, I'm with you. That's most important. But here are my concerns. Don't know anybody in Alaska, the kids' school, this, that, and so forth. All right, here's the plan. Here's what we're going to do. Here's how that's going to be taken care of. It's my job to lay it out in front of you so you can understand how to nest inside of the plan. I can't just come home and say, pack all our shit, we're going to Alaska. That's a bad leader. It's a bad leader because there's no way to nest in insecurity. Now, how do we take risks? I have to come to you and say, wife, okay, we have stable. We have cement floor, brick house, but it's small. In order to get more, I need to go over there where there's more competition and more opportunity. We're going to have to take 1 or 2 steps back, but I'm going to do the work required to give us 5 steps forward. I need you to support us while I do that. You're here for me, right? Absolutely. And in this, when you say, I'm here for you, but
here are my concerns.
All right. Then I need to address your major concerns. And then say, all right, here's your major concerns. Everything ain't going to be mapped out. All right. So we're going to go there. Pretty workable for the most part.
Would you find that most men, generally speaking, most black men are good leaders in the true sense of the word?
Well, I think that's a loaded question. I mean, it's kind of hard to be a good leader when 80% of us are raised by women. I think you get the leaders that you want. I mean, there's no reason to have so many fathers out of the household. See, you can't turn around and ask a man to be a Spartan when you raised him without his daddy in the household, around a bunch of, I don't need no man, this, that, and the third. And then all of a sudden you want him to be something he's never seen, never been modeled, never even been praised by the women around you. Then you're shocked why you have no straw to make bricks with your current men.
But then, Kevin, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Because you're telling me those same men who are not the Spartans, and for valid reason, for whatever reason in their upbringing, they're not good leaders.
No. I didn't say they're not good leaders.
Some of them.
I didn't.
But you're telling me be agreeable,
No.
be cooperative, when you know that their past has them fairly flawed on the
You're
leadership
cutting out.
aspect. So how do I
No.
trust the
I didn't say
leadership?
that. I didn't say their past has been fairly flawed. I didn't say their past has been flawed. You put that in there. See, you asked me, do I think the average black man is a good leader? I said I think it's a disingenuous question because you're asking a group of men who have raised 80% women. But what I do know is, according to the numbers, especially when it comes to fathers, black men are the best, most involved fathers in the country, according to the CDC. That's why you have non-black women rushing in to get black men, because we were raised in the matriarchy, because we are much more likely to listen to our women than other men who are raised in the patriarchy. But you're also going to have to learn how to be able to be more supportive of your men, because we're so used to seeing in our black community black male leadership be questioned. So here's what we can't do. We can't say, well, Kevin, do you think the average black man is a good leader? And then let's just go with the answer that I think your question, let's go with the answer that I think you were kind of getting. Well, not so much. Then you can't get mad when you show up with a white woman.
Okay.
Can't get mad when you show up with a white woman, and because if she wanted to bet on it, well, he may not be the best leader, but I like the way he rows my boat, and we're going down. So you can't get mad if you end up with a white woman, Hispanic woman, Middle Eastern woman. If she's like, I was willing to work with him, because that's the thing. Do you feel like the average black woman is really willing to work with a black man?
I don't think so, not generally. I think that the average black woman is programmed to protect ourselves and protect and to not trust.
And here's the thing, and that ends up with a group of men who would love to be with a woman to share their reflection, but they understand that those are the women that raised them, they're their sisters, their uncles, their aunties, and everything else. And at the end of the day, it only makes sense for a black man to say, well, she's protecting her, doing what's best for her. As much as I would like to be with somebody that looks like her, somebody like this is not really even willing to give me the benefit of the doubt or work with me. So why should I turn down these women who are knocking at my door saying, hey, I like to? Where the average black woman is today, for whatever reason, is on the path to being alone. Because you remove black men out of the equation, what group of men is rushing to get you? Not in significant numbers.
Not many. You said the same thing. Not insignificant. No, not many.
So this is why so many women don't like my program, because you're like, well, it all comes down to women, because it does come down to you. It is going to take women talking to women, dealing with women's issues, and coming back to them in. And if you don't, you'll die alone. The men aren't going to die alone, because here's the reality. Let's just snap my fingers, and we're the same age. How old are you?
37.
37. So at 16, we were one thing. Then at 18, we were one thing. 21, we were another thing. At 25, you're at the peak. But at 30, I'm starting to come to my own. At 35, things will change. At 40, 45, at 50. At 50, I can still turn around and marry a 28-year-old woman. At 50, you can have a fling with a 25-year-old man. A man has 3 different lifetimes. A woman has 1. So women have to get the major parts of their life together sooner because of biology, because things start to be removed. If it's not fair, take it up with the creator. So the path of I need to take care of myself, do this, do that, so on and so forth, is leading so many women who have this mindset to be unfit for cooperation with a man long term. So I'm not happy where I see so many of our women over 40. It's just what's next? Because Hollywood will tell you to live your best life, girl, but you're not making that kind of money. This is what I think a lot of women are going to have to realize, that we need to do something and make a pitch to our men, collectively and individually, to try to do something. For those of you who want something other than buy a dog and die alone, because men aren't going to be by themselves. I can tell you that men aren't going to be by themselves. Sadly, as much as we may want to see the rekindling of black families, that may be on the younger side. What about the people on the older side? I don't want to see a bunch of spinster black women living in retirement communities by themselves, but it's freedom. You can't make people do anything. People are free.
It's I think on average the average black woman really loves black men and vice versa. Black men are great, beautiful, some of the best fathers, like you said, fantastic men. So I find it strange that we are so misaligned and just can't get it right.
But the funny thing is, 54% of black men are single and childless. 61% are in the middle class. Over half of black men are locked out of fatherhood. So we hear black women say that, but then you're not reproducing with these men. 80% of black children are born out of wedlock. There's a 30% black marital rate, so roughly 84% of black men, 54% single and childless, 30% married, roughly 80% of children are made by roughly 16% of men. And are these the 16 Nobel laureates? And I mean, who are we making kids with?
Fair enough.
So
It's depressing.
what's not depressing? See, what's not depressing? What's depressing is continuing to act like there's nothing wrong. You got to deal with the facts, the data, the reality, the statistics, and then decide to say, here's what's out here. What am I going to do about it? Here's the numbers. Then what I'm going to do about it? We can. I think the first step to solving any problem is admitting there is one. So we got to deal with reality. And then choices can be made after you deal with what's there. But living life like, man, there's no problem, that's depressing. Appreciate it, sis.